Hey, hello everyone. My name is Edwin and this is Eugene. Okay, you are actually viewing our very first episode of our podcast, Talk It Out.
Yes.
Okay, Talk It Out was created because we realized in Singapore a lot of people don't like to talk. Okay, and a lot of people like
That's
to
right.
bottle things up, bottle emotions, bottle situations to a point whereby things can get a little bit out of hand. And I think we want to be the voice of this very special group of people, this group of people who are most of the time misunderstood, misrepresented, or even not represented at all, the men, right? Men, more specifically being the dads, people who have kids, even if you have a fur kid, right? You're also a dad. And a lot of times we don't really see the effort that dads put in. We don't really see the struggles that dads go through, right? So me and Eugene actually decided like we are going to be the voice of these people, okay? So for the viewers out there, if you are a dad, and if there's something on your chest, on your shoulder, in your back, and if you want to talk it out, do drop a comment, okay? Or do write in to us to let us know, and we can actually discuss about certain topics. I think personally for myself, through the years of learning to be a dad, right? A lot of times we tend to learn from videos, learn from people, learn from even our own dads. Then we start to realize what they mean by until you become a dad, then you understand.
Yes, I agree. I guess that's what we say, nobody's ever really prepared to be a parent. Nobody's ever really prepared to be a father. We kind of learn along the way, and it's really through a lot of trial and error. And sometimes men in general, or fathers, as much as we are trying our best, I think we also need a community of support. Sometimes all we need is just a pat on the back, or someone to give a word of encouragement, to know like, hey, whatever you are doing is worth it, keep it up, you've got what it takes, just continue doing whatever you're doing, and you are not alone. I think that's what's most important, and that's what we are trying to represent here.
Yeah. I mean, even based on our own personal experiences, we have started many businesses, failed more than I think countless number of times. There are times whereby I've been put in situations where I had to do or put myself through certain things that I never imagined that I could do, right? And things like, doing deliveries just to make ends meet, making sure that every time I go to the supermarket, there's enough money to buy the groceries, to buy the necessities, right?
Yes.
There was a point in time in my life where I was heavily in debt, because of certain things that I was holding on, trying to sustain the business, pumping every single blood, sweat and tears into the business to a point where it was eating me up inside, right? And I think even my clients don't know what I'm going through, because what they see on the surface is very superficial. Wow, you have a nice shop, you have so much stock, wow, life must have been good for you. And I think it's not that I need everyone to know, right? But I think these experiences would share that I can share with you can help you a little bit in terms of when you're in your darkest moments, right? I believe we all have been there. We all have been in a situation that we never expected ourselves to be in.
Yes, I agree. I think for myself also, likewise, I've been somewhat in a similar situation as you. Maybe not to package delivery yet, but I've at a time had to go to doing private PHV. I had to drive Uber and Grab. No, there's nothing wrong about it, honestly. It's an honest living, but it was tough. It was really tough. And there was, it's a very big transition from being in the corporate world to having to do that. And then after that, starting up a business, and then struggling through, and really just working your way and meandering your way around.
I think
It's tough.
I think it's not so much about the job.
Yep.
Really, and tiring is tiring, but honestly, at that point in time, I've driven Grab, I've delivered Shopee parcel, I worked with Roadboo, Park and Parcel, Shopee Express. All these are honestly, the job is quite fun, right? But there are also times whereby you start to wonder to yourself, is this really what I want? Because when I was doing all these deliveries, it's more of a single man's job.
Yeah.
Right? It's a single man's life. You know, every morning wake up, 6 o'clock, go and start driving Grab, or 7 o'clock go to the warehouse, start collecting the parcels, start scanning in the parcels, and by the time I'm done with the day, probably 8, 9.
Yes.
Right? Likelihood because of my size lah, right? I mean, if I had to drive around the different blocks, go up and down, collect the parcels, and there are also certain times whereby people around you may not be that nice. But honestly, at that point, it didn't matter because I knew what I was working for. I knew that the light at the end of the tunnel will soon appear.
True.
Yeah, and through the entire experience, I think what I want to bring across is this: a lot of times, dads especially, we tend to suffer alone.
Yes.
Right? My wife asked me, so how? I just tell her, never mind, don't worry about money, I'll bring the money home. Right? Don't have to worry whether we got enough or not. You need to buy, you go and buy. You just let me know, I make plans for it. You just make whatever purchases that you want. And I fully trust her that she will plan out whether is it really necessary. And I think through these years, even as a dad, I've came to a point where we have sorted out most of our differences. I wouldn't say all. Yeah, most of our differences in terms of who's bringing bread back home to the family, who's the one taking care of the family, and how the entire team dynamic works. So, yeah, this is actually a lot of things was sorted out because we talked it out. Did we quarrel? Yes. It's just short of going into a fist fight. Right? And there were shouts, there were screams, there were things flying around, but at the end of the day, I think the most important thing that helped us to overcome, I would say overcome and become better versions of ourselves is that we talk things out. Because most of the time it becomes a point whereby expectations for myself is a little bit too high. Expectations for my wife is not that high. What I thought my wife expected, what I thought my kid expected, what I thought the people around me expected actually is not as high as I envisioned it to be, which gave myself a lot of unnecessary stress.
Agree. So if you didn't already know, we are both married. So I agree with that. Sometimes I think it's not just that. It's not about not trusting our partner and not wanting to share our problems with them. It's actually about us. And what I feel about what most guys are like is that we don't want to impose on our family members. We want them to know that they are safe, that they are secure, and subconsciously or unintentionally, then we bear a lot of the weight on our own shoulders. And then this is where we want to band together to do this and let you guys and let ourselves talk it out, right? To help to relieve some of this burden, help to relieve some of this stress, and just to let you know that, hey, it's okay. Moving forward, you have somewhere to turn to and keep doing whatever you are doing.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of it, I think that on a lighter note, right? We are also here to be the voice for you to share certain things with your partners.
Yes.
That sometimes it's a little bit difficult to tell them straight up.
Right.
It's easier for outsider to say it to them, right? And when we come together as a community, I think it's important for fathers to know that, as we are hustling, as we are bringing bread home for the family, you are not alone, right? And we are going to come together as a community to build the people in this community to become a better version of themselves. So we have lined up a lot of events,
Yes.
We have plans for events. We have plans for
Upskilling,
workshops, yes.
trainings,
And it's not about whether or not you can afford it. We'll do our best to make sure that most of the events are free,
yes,
right? And it's more of the coming together, the being willing to put yourself out there,
yes,
to meet new people, to know more about how you can become a better version of yourself, right?
right.
And since we have already been through this journey on our own, and I mean for future dads,
Yeah.
up and coming dads, we can all band together. Like, you know how some mummies, they have mummies group.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I mean in my so many years of being not so many, I mean three years right? 3 years of being a dad, right? I have never seen
a daddy's group, or father's group,
or like a group that helps to talk to dads.
yes,
Because a lot of times is my wife coming to me, hey, my mommy group tell me this one good. Then I don't have hey, my daddy group tell you this one, you know? That's why we have this podcast itself.
Yeah, I think also for guys sometimes it's really when you see like your wife have this mommy group or have this clique or this friend circle that they share certain ideas or stories or case studies in a sense, and then where do we guys end up? We end up Googling or we end up on Reddit, which really isn't the best to find advice, honestly. So, you know, this initiative is really just out there, so at least then there is yet another avenue for you guys to figure things out along the way. So with that, I hope you guys stay tuned for our new upcoming version and next episode of Talk It Out.
Yes, see you next time. Bye bye.